Hey, Raptor Freaks, Lexi Odds here. Good morning. It's the Thursday Think Tank. That's right. One of the best segments of the week, the Think Tank, where we all get together and we put our hive minds together and talk about big subjects, big subjects. And today we're talking about new rules. And there's a couple of different kinds of new rules I want to talk about. We talk about the Elam ending, we talk about the play-in tournament, we can talk about the mid-season tournament. And I also want to talk about a set of rules that applies to a certain group of people and it doesn't apply to others also. So some rule talk today, talking about rules in the NBA and also in life. Oh yeah. All right, let me see. Monique was here already. She said, "Did anyone see that Thad speak? Check it out. Truly amazing. Highly recommend." Thad Young doing his Rico Hines in a clip yesterday that's all over the place. Thad just going on and say, "You have to torture yourself to get somewhere in the NBA. Do you think I like this, enjoy this? No, I torture myself to get better and to get 4, 5 contracts in the NBA and be in the NBA for 16 years. I've been torturing myself," is what he's saying. Amazing stuff. Very inspiring what Thad said yesterday. I'm so glad he's on our team, baby. That's right. Thad Young is on our team, and he's just the kind of vet that we want to have on our team and stuff like that. Such a great influence on people like Scotty and Precious and Delano. Love Thad Young being on the Toronto Raptors. And yeah, that was a really great speech. We've had a lot of inspirational Raptors this summer with Rico Hines and different people saying different things at different times. I'll tell you what, Scotty Barnes is very inspirational on his Twitch also. We hear him give pep talks to people like John and Lloyd and Nardo, and he is just as much just this kind of guy. Monique's also saying Mike Roach is doing Facebook Lives with his podcast, just news for us. All right, cool. Mike Roach working with Chris Boucher on the Hustle Play podcast. Hopefully there'll be more episodes of that with teammates and stuff with Chris, joking around, having a good time, being a little loose with their podcast and talking back and forth. Scotty still has not answered me about going on Chris Boucher's Hustle Play podcast. In fact, he is very much on the record for not wanting to do any podcasts. I don't know what happened to him, but he is not about podcasts. There's been people who have come at him from different places, whether it's Twitter people, whether it's this Through the Wire rating his Twitch stream. They did it again last night. He was on for 2 hours. They're asking him to be a guest on this podcast, and he just says no. He does not do podcasts, y'all. So if you're looking for a podcast interview with Scotty Barnes, you may never find it, because that's just not a format he's interested in doing. He's on the record very much so as saying that. So if you're a aspiring young podcaster, don't expect to get big four on it, because he ain't doing them. No, he ain't. Because I say if he's going to do a podcast, he should do Chris Boucher's Hustle Play, because that's his teammate. And that's cool. It would work. But he won't even say that he'll do that. So why would you think he'd just do a podcast for you, jabroni? Woo-hoo-hoo. All right, just kidding. All right, good morning to G. Yes, Mo, amazing. And good morning to Sue. Yes, schooling the young guys. Thad Young, his daddy is in the house teaching the wisdom to the youngsters. Tom Duke is here. So good. Good morning, everyone. What did I miss on Twitch? His stream is not posted up. Yeah, he did not put it up. And I'll tell you why, Tom. Listen, Scotty was in a great mood last night. He was fun. He logged on around, I guess it was around 9 o'clock. I guess he logged on, and he was playing 2K with John and Nardo, and they were playing 3-on-3s and 2-on-2s, and he was losing a bit, but he was still very upbeat. Like, he was dancing at one point. He was putting on these glasses. He had these sunglasses. He said he found them on the street. He said he was out walking Cardi and he found some glasses on the side of the road and he put them on, and they're like Terminator Arnold glasses, and he kept wearing them. He put them on while he was playing, and all of a sudden he'd start kicking butt. He's like, yeah, I should keep the glasses on. They were funny because he's wearing glasses in real life while he's playing the Twitch and playing the video game. And then his character, he's upgraded his character on the 2K to have a Scotty Barnes jersey. First of all, he went and got his own jersey. He's wearing it now as his character, and he's got glasses on his character. So it's kind of like the glasses were on his character and also on him while he was playing. And it was really kind of meta and cool. It was like really cool, honestly. It was like him and his glasses. But yeah, they were having trouble with the teamwork. I mean, listen, this is the thing. Scotty gets really frustrated when he loses. We know this. Like, he gets really frustrated. And this is a great great thing about him for us on the Raptors, being fans, because the dude really cares about winning. He really cares. Like, I can't understatements. I can say this most ridiculous whiny way. He really cares. But I mean it. Like, I can't even say it enough. Me and Lloyd were talking about it afterwards last night, just how much Scotty cares about winning. And I love that about him. Like, one of the things he was talking about last night, Tom, was he wants to be a comeback kid. Like, he was like, man, when I got hurt in the playoffs against Philadelphia, when Joel stepped on my ankle, I wanted to make this story about how I came back and overcame it all and stuff like that. That is really what he was intending to do in that series, that he wanted us to win so he could say that he overcame it and was a comeback kid. And he said that's the kind of thing he wants to do. He's like, when they count me out and I'm out and down and out, I want to come back and get it and win overall at the end and stuff like that. That is what he's all about. And his problems is that he has such a high aptitude in natural basketball IQ and things like that. And in the game, he knows where to spread and how to, cheat off of defending people, and like when you have to go and cover and rotate and all this kind of stuff in the game. And John, at times, this is John's brother, right? You guys got to understand, this is his brother, John French, he's playing with. This isn't some regular friend. This is his blood brother, his real brother in real life. He's yelling at him. He's like, nah, John, you got to do this. Why aren't you rotating? He's yelling at him. And, Nardo had some good moves. They were playing pretty good. Like, they had a little bit of a streak, but then he kept losing for a bit. And he did something he's never done on last night, Tom. He rage quit. That's right. They were in a really close game. It was 3-on-3, and they were winning. They were up by a bit, but the team started coming back, and then it was a battle. Like, they were both like 20-20 in the game, and it's to 21, and then boom, they hit a shot and they won, and immediately he cut the system off. And that's right when Tom Duke showed up. It's like so weird. It's like, I didn't see Tom in there. I saw Shane. We were talking to Shane Waters a bit. And Cool Cat was there too. And then Tom showed up, and then boom, the stream was over. So it was like, Tom, where were you? You just showed up right at the end and stuff like that. But yeah, Scotty got really mad last night. He had this energy once again that's kind of similar to what he had a couple weeks ago when he got mad at me about the YouTube stuff. Is like a jubilant kind of high energy, like edgy energy that can go from being really like happy and like he's up dancing. He's like doing all this kind of stuff, and he's taking requests from the people that are in the stream and listening to the music and like, oh, this is good, Nassim, this is awesome. He's getting down, but then he's getting really competitive while he's playing also, and then he's getting like very low tolerance for failure, and then boom, he's off. All of a sudden, he's gone. It was so fun though for a while because it was only a 2-hour stream. It wasn't that long, and he didn't leave it up because there was so much losing in it. There wasn't that much, honestly, and he looked good for the most of it, but there was some losing in it, and he probably didn't want to put it up there for people to see, and that's why he took the stream down like almost immediately. So Monique, you can't review this one. This one's gone. It's 2 hours. It wasn't that long. It was from like 9 o'clock last night till about 11:30 is when he jumped off finally at the end of it and stuff like that. But it was he's hilarious. The glasses themselves is crazy. And then this girl Erica, who's in the chat, she needs to chill. She's like acting like his mom. She's telling him he needs to go eat. He needs to go walk the dog. When are you going to bring out your next YouTube clip? And I'm like, Erica, just chill. Chill. You are not bossing Scotty around like this. So just, Erica, if you see my channel, you watch me right now, chill out in Scotty's Twitch, because you are a little bit overbearing with how much you're demanding of Scotty and stuff like that. It's crazy. So that's basically the gist of it, Tom. Good vibes, good times, cool new glasses, but also frustration and rage quitting was basically the Twitch last night. Yeah. Monique saying good morning. Good morning to Monique, superfan Monique Lawrence. I got my tickets yesterday to the game for Chicago preseason on that Sunday, and I have a Friday freak out for y'all tomorrow. It's going to be really, you guys are going to want to hear it. The Friday freak out tomorrow is going to be very serious, and I'm going to be going off. I'm not going to lie. I usually am pretty measured with my freak out, but tomorrow I have something very mad about that I want to talk about. I'm not going to do it today, but we'll talk about it. G saying maybe he is worried about saying something and it being taken out of context. No, I don't think it was that. I think it is basically like him, there was a lot of losing on it, and that, like, and maybe they did. Yeah, it could be partly that he was very hard on John. Like, he was saying some things, and they were talking trash to each other. In fact, they were arguing at one point, and it sounded a lot like, like my brother Carl, who's here, me and him when we were little kids, maybe arguing as brothers. Because we got to remember, there's a whole brother dynamic between John and Scotty that's grown up. They were little kids together growing up. And they, this is the kind of thing, like, there was probably brotherly fighting going on in there. And it wasn't all pleasant, stuff like that. Because John was arguing back with Scotty, and he was kind of talking trash back at Scotty. And Scotty was saying, no, no, shut up, yo, shut up. I'm on my Switch and stuff like that. But Carl Otts, let's go. I hope my niece and nephew are having a good time and a good day in Atlanta, and that you guys are having such a nice time and seeing grandpa and grandma, stuff like that. I love you, Carl. Always happy to see you pop in and say hi. Monique saying you saw the stream. Okay, cool. So you were there watching it that last night and stuff. But yeah, he didn't leave it up. He took it down immediately. And there was a little bit of copyright music being played during it, but not a lot. Randolph Phillips is here. Good morning, gang. Blessings on everyone. I know it would be a great show as always. Lots to discuss. Listening. All right, Randolph, buckle in. We're going to be talking about the Elam ending today. We're going to talk about the play-in tournament. We're going to talk about the midseason tournament that's being proposed. And I also want to talk about this Robert Sarver stuff a little bit more deeper, because it really is an example of something in society that is illuminating something that's pulling back the veil a little bit. The press conference with Adam Silver yesterday was very enlightening. A press person straight up asked Adam Silver, is like, does everybody in the league have to follow this code of conduct as far as like players, coaches, GMs, owners? And Adam Silver's saying, yes, they are all have to follow this code of conduct. Well, then why isn't he out of the league? Why aren't you doing more about this? Well, in this special case, an owner has special privileges where I can't just kick him out. He has certain rights as an owner that is something different than an employee. And that right there just tells us something about our society today. That, listen, we can be employees, we can be people that work for other people, but we don't play by the same rules as them. And we see it in so many ugly, unfair ways in society right now, that if you have money and you have certain things, you can get out of responsibility for bad things that you've done. We see it on the biggest scale right now with Donald Trump. The things that he has done, he should be getting in trouble for. But they're using all kinds of different subterfuge to try and confuse and say, no, we're not going to get him in trouble for this. He should be in jail right now. And, especially with the man being out on the golf course doing mafioso meetings with wiretaps, worries, and stuff like that. He's standing out in the middle of the golf course, just like Robert De Niro and Joe Pesci would do in a Scorsese film. That's what I'm saying. Listen, they're playing by different rules than us. And this is a perfect example, Robert Sarver, of how unequal things are in this world. That if you have money and you have this kind of this and this, you insulate yourself from having to get in trouble in certain ways. I'd like to see the NBA nail him. I think that LeBron James' statement that came out yesterday is kind of signaling this, that LeBron in some ways really is king. That, King James is king of the NBA because he has a lot of financial clout. He has a lot of power in this league, and he was a big driving force behind getting Donald Sterling out. Well, LeBron, listen, you can earn that GOAT more and more of that title with my book. If you can go after and get Sarver out too, because I want to see you wield that muscle, LeBron James, and show the world that you are someone who will stand up for what's right politically and use your power to make things right. And, the other sports leagues may be worried, and, oh, the NFL, we'd never be like this with our owners, and the MLB or whatever. But the NBA is a progressive league. And in some ways, it's a leader of the future for the world. That, yeah, sure, it's the woke league. Sure, it was the Black Lives Matter league and stuff like that. But this is leading the humanity and society forward in a trend. And that's what I'm saying. Maybe the NBA can lead the trend of making people who think they're untouchable because of money pay for their problems and things that they've done. Yeah. So LeBron's signaling, he's like, I don't think somebody like this should be involved in the NBA. Well, he's got a lot of power. Let's see what the next chess move is. And let's see if Robert Sarver is ousted as an owner in the NBA eventually because of LeBron saying, hey, we're going to get together, the players, and we're going to say this and this. We're not going to play. And Adam Silver may have some problems. But listen, the whole thing about the press conference with what Adam Silver said, it illuminates that there are different sets of rules for an employee and an owner in this world. If you own something, you don't have to play by the same rules as the people that work under you. And that's messed up in some ways, that they can get away with so much and stuff. That's why they're all gross and disgusting and do a lot of gross things up there at the top, because they think they can get away with it. Well, let's start making a trend. Let's make an example NBA. Donald Sterling was a good example then. Well, let's continue to hold that trend, because Robert Sarver is just as much a Donald Sterling as Donald Sterling was. And I want to see the same kind of stuff happen. It's just like Adam Silver said, his hands are tied. He cannot do anything more than what he did. He said, I did as much as I can as the commissioner, and my rights are given to me as this organization, the NBA, gives me. Now it's up to other people, whether it's the players saying, we are not going to play until you get rid of this guy, or it's the other owners voting and saying, you're out, bro. You screwed up and you are making our league look bad and stuff like that. So let's see if power can get held accountable for once and stuff like that, and not just shrink and wriggle themselves out of problems with money and lawyers and bullshit like that. Because this is happening in all kinds of arenas, in every kind of aspect of life, in different places, whether it's like businesses, people that are in power, CEOs doing crazy stuff and they're just above the law or can get away with it. It is very much the leadership of Donald Trump teaches that to ugly, gross people that have money and power, that they can be ugly and gross as much as they want because the money. Yeah. So, all right, that was just a little aside. And I was really inspired by this because that Adam Silver press conference really illuminated this issue in our society today, that owners play by different rules than employees. That's basically what Adam Silver said. So there's a system of checks and balances. Well, LeBron James, you come and balance some things real quick because you can. I know you can, and you probably will. G saying, meant for Scotty going on podcasts, we see how they take partial quotes and take things out of context for clicks. I don't know what it is. I think that it's partly that maybe he might have done a podcast early on and he didn't like how it went. It could be that there was something like what G is describing, that he may have been taken out of context. He may have got burned by a podcast some way, somehow. And he's like, no more podcasts. I ain't doing them. Listen, if he wants to do Twitch, do his YouTube channels and stuff like that, that is fine for me. I don't need to hear him talk on podcasts with somebody who's just getting their ego filled because they got Scotty Barnes on their show or something like that. Screw that. I can get so much more information just watching Scotty on Twitch naturally, and just him being himself and talking about what he wants to talk about. We don't need podcasts with Scotty Barnes, y'all. He doesn't want to do it. So y'all stop asking him, please. Please stop asking him. But do Chris Boucher's, Scotty, if you can. Please do Chris's. That would be a really good one. I'd love to see that interaction between you guys and stuff like that. So, okay, Monique's already guessed it, and you're exactly right. Monique, she's assuming that my Friday Freakout is about the ticket pricing. It's not about the ticket pricing exactly. It's about the ticket reselling. And yeah, I'm going to be freaking out about this tomorrow. I will tell you how my experience getting tickets yesterday went for that game for Chicago. Yeah. And we're going to talk about where the problem lies and what they need to do about it, because this is a real big problem. This is a huge problem. And this is not just for sports and stuff like that. It's for concerts. It's for everything right now. With resellers. That's who I'm going after tomorrow. We're talking about ticket reselling on the Friday Freakout tomorrow, and I am going to go off on that one. Oh, trust me. Tom Duke saying Wednesday Freakout for CP and LeBron about Sarver, not just lip service if they work for him like CP. Exactly. Chris Paul is quoted about this situation. Wow. And he is in that organization and stuff like that. I'm sure Earl Watson would love to have an interview right about now about Robert Sarver. Oh, yeah, he would. He would like to say a lot of things that he has on his chest and just get them off right now and just illuminate everything that he knows about the whole situation. Now, this is really good by LeBron. In fact, for all the years that he's hurt me personally as a Raptors fan and the playoffs and stuff like that, I'm so glad that he is political. I'm so glad that he's not afraid to put his neck out there and say some things that may anger and piss off different people around different places and stuff like that. So kudos to LeBron. You actually have earned a lot of points with me in recent years because of stuff like this. So go forward, Mr. James. And like I said, use that clout because I know you can make things happen. You really can. Did you guys know that Chris Paul was the one who introduced the Elam ending to Adam Silver? That Chris Paul is actually the one who came up with the idea of using it in the NBA. He say, "Hey, Adam Silver, there's this thing called the Elam ending. You should try it." And Adam Silver looked at it. He's like, "Okay, Chris." And he looked at it and he actually is like, "Okay, yeah, we will use it." The Elam ending to me, out of the three things that I want to talk about today, which is the play in, the midseason tournament, and the Elam ending, is the one that I don't like the most. I like the other two a lot. I think the play in has been an absolute success the 2 years we've done it. So good. Like the plan is so brilliant and it should stay forever from now on because it's done so many good things. We talked about it. It stops teams from tanking. It has more teams playing for more important reasons. And there's more like interesting games at the end of the season because there's more kind of matchups that matter because the people are trying to make the play in or avoid the play in, trying to think about seeding and all this kind of stuff. So the play has been an absolute success. And I think the midseason tournament will be similar like that because people will understand the excitement of it, the break in the middle of the season that makes things matter a bit more because you're playing for actual cup and money and stuff like that. But the Elam ending is a little bit different to me. I can understand why it's kind of interesting and fun and different, but I don't like how that CEBL final game finished. The game with Scarborough and who was it? The team that won, Guelph or whoever. I forget who it was. Who won that again? I see. I don't even. Oh, the Honey Badgers. That's right. Wasn't it Hamilton? Hamilton beat Scarborough in the CEBL final this summer and on a free throw. I hate that. I hate that so much. That is my problem with the Elam ending is that I don't want to see somebody go up to the free throw line and just end the game by shooting a free throw like that. I'm sorry. No, because you know why? Because that means the referee kind of decided the game for who they thought should win. And I don't like that. There shouldn't be foul calls and the fouls should be very much, I don't know. It's such a tough thing. It's much more rewarding when the last shot of the game is made from the field and not from the line. I don't know. I don't know how they can change that rule with that. That may be my biggest problem with the Elam ending. I don't want to see games ended at the free throw line like that, especially because of a foul that got called and stuff like that. So, and I'm with Drake about how that was bogus, how Scarborough lost to Hamilton that way and stuff like that. So, all right, let's see. Monique saying Pascal dropped his Rico Runs video last night. Okay, so he has a video that I guess they produced and clipped together and edited finally from the Rico Hines times and stuff like that. Pascal's been out of the country. He just got back. I don't know. Somebody was trying to say he was at Rolling Loud this weekend. He was not. He was in Paris and stuff like that. G saying Eric Watson left Phoenix because of Robert Sarver. That is exactly right. That there was some specific toxic activity with Earl Watson and Robert Sarver that hasn't been fully divulged. But yeah, that is, listen, our game. You have a screwed up owner who's going to mistreat somebody like Earl Watson. We got a great assistant coach on our team. Thank you in some ways. But there's some stuff that Earl knows that he hasn't said publicly that could factor into this whole situation with Robert Sarver getting ousted from the league. That it may be that Earl Watson needs to come in and testify at some point and say, this is why this dude needs to go and stuff like that. Yeah. Monique saying that Adam Silver conference was real deep. Some people are saying it was the worst moment in his career as the commissioner of the NBA in some ways, because it is some ways very disgusting. Like I said, it's showing a light to society in general, not just the NBA, that there are different rules that owners and people that have money at the very top play by than everybody else that works for them underneath. That designation between owner and employee is something that's very deep. Monique is right. And think about it, how it applies to your company that you work for. Is the person that you work for, the CEO at the top, do they play by different rules? And do they act like it? And do they abuse it? And do they get away with it? That's the stuff I'm talking about. This is the thing. We need to have accountability for everybody at all levels. Because if you don't have accountability for people at the top like Donald Trump, then everybody doesn't want to follow the rules. It's an example for everybody all the way down. Why should anybody do anything? Why don't we all walk around and act like pigs and sexist, racist pigs? Just because, oh, he can do it, he can get away with it. That's what I'm saying. Accountability is important. And that's why the US government and the US needs to get this Trump thing figured out, because there's no accountability coming towards him yet. But I still have hope. I really do. I really do. Let's see. Randolph saying Adam Silver kept going back to he did a lot of good, as if the good you do entitles you to treat other people in this inhumane way. This could stain Adam. This is bad. This is very bad. I mean, between the Tim Donaghy thing, kind of talking about the refs again, and this Sarver stuff now, these are black eyes. These are image problems for the NBA. And, Adam Silver, you need to be a badass and protect the integrity of this league, just like David Stern would. Whether you need to tell Scott Foster to retire today, or you need to get Robert Sarver's ass out of ownership in the NBA. You just need to make these things happen. Because when you do, it'll be good for the league. Just trust me. And the fact that these guys think they're ensconced or tenured or just, oh, we can just do this and be whoever we are, it speaks to part of the problem of the power and the consolidation of them being so stuck in those spots. Scott Foster had no business being a referee in this league for the last 15 years. We know this man is dirty. And we've seen how he treats Chris Paul and other players and stuff like that. This dude needs to go, seriously. And so does Robert Sarver. Both of them need to go. Now, talking about this mid-season tournament, Mark Cuban has talked a bit about it, not liking it and stuff like that, but I think he's misguided on this. The fact that the games for the mid-season tournament would count towards the regular 82-game season, and that teams that were playing in it get their games played in it, and then teams that don't play in it still have regular games that get played outside of it, it's all kind of equal and fits nice because it keeps the 82 games of stats uniform with other years. Then there's some years where we've had shortened seasons because of the bubble and pandemic and stuff like that. But for the most part, the NBA's done really good about keeping all the NBA seasons throughout the history the same for the most part, as far as the same opportunity for players to get stats over those times. And that's the thing. The midseason tournament won't take that away from that. And that was my biggest worry about doing something like that. How would this affect the continuity of doing statistical analysis over ages and periods of time in the NBA? Well, if the games are the same amount and they line up, that's great. And who wouldn't want more excitement in the middle of the season? The season is a long season and they get monotonous. There's so many games and you're just like, oh, it's just another one of the 82. Well, some of these games could be a little bit more special and matter more and maybe perk things up in the middle of the season, exactly what a mid-season tournament is supposed to do. And then you also get more teams that can enjoy success. That if you have a cup winner in the middle of the season, it may be not as prestigious as the Larry O'Brien, but it is something for, look at what Minnesota did when they won their play-in game last year. They got crazy and wild and celebrated that city just from winning a play-in game. So just imagine how much excitement and enthusiasm can be generated from a mid-season tournament for a fan base that may not regularly compete for Larry O'Brien's. So I think the mid-season tournament is a great idea. We've seen it in practice on the G League level last year, and it worked pretty well. We're going to see it again this year in the G League. So pay real close attention to that tournament and how they do it in the G League this year, and then you can see how it may work in the NBA and stuff like that. I'm very interested in that and stuff like that. So I'm all about the play-in. We've gone over that ad nauseum, talking about the benefits of making teams not want to tank and having more to play for and more excitement on the stretch run of the end of the season and stuff like that. That is badass. Mid-season tournament could have a similar effect to the middle of the season and make the NBA season even more exciting and more important and stuff like that. In fact, it could mean more money for them. And that may be the thing that they care about the most in some ways, stuff like that. Another subject I want to talk about today is Donovan Mitchell, guys. He's arrived in Cleveland yesterday and he's done a lot of interviews and they're very telling. They're very telling. Cleveland, you guys, You guys are over the moon about this move, getting Donovan Mitchell on your team, but I don't think you should be. I really don't think you should be, Cleveland Cavalier fan, because this dude did not want to be in Cleveland. I'm sorry. All of the tells and all the things he said in the press conference yesterday, he really wanted to be in New York. And this is really was exactly what people are saying. Danny Ainge punishing Donovan Mitchell by not giving him what he wanted and sending him to Cleveland. He didn't want to be in Cleveland, but now he's seeing it. He's like, okay, yeah, this is a young core and stuff like that. But listen, this is the kind of thing he really thought he was going to be on New York. He really, really thought he was going to be on New York, and he is disappointed about it. It's like, you're a second choice, Cleveland. You're not even a second choice. You're just the choice that he ended up going to. And this is another thing about Mitchell. You guys love Mitchell. All these people that wanted Donovan Mitchell on our team and stuff like that. I don't never want Donovan Mitchell on my team. I'm going to tell you why. Because he's not like Scotty Barnes. I don't think he cares enough. I think he's a pretty talented dude. He's a good basketball player. He's a nice guy. But I don't think he has that spirit in him that like Scotty Barnes rage quitting at 11:30 last night on his video game because he's so mad about losing. That's the thing. I think he's too casual. Like reading his body language and the way he's acting about all this, I think that this is part of the problem in Utah, why they never really got that far, is because he's their superstar, their main scorer, and he just doesn't have that edge. In fact, he kind of reminds me of Vince in some ways. He's a very good athlete. He can score a lot. He's fun to watch, but he doesn't have that winning edge. And that's what I think Cleveland's going to find out real quick, that this dude's not a winner. The dude can score 50 points in the bubble. He can look great. He can score all kinds of which ways, but there's something that separates him from somebody who will win a championship like Fred VanVleet. There's something that separates him from caring enough like Scotty Barnes. The dude's just coasting through life. He's happy. And he's just like, okay, I'm in Cleveland. There's guys seem nice and stuff like that. But that dude never wanted to be in Cleveland. This situation isn't as rosy as Cleveland fan wants to think. I don't think he's going to fit. I think there's going to be some weird problems in Cleveland this year because he was never supposed to even be there. He's supposed to be in New York. This is hilarious. All right, let's see. G saying, if the tournament games count towards the season, it forces teams to play well and not load manage. Yes, that's a great aspect of this, G, if this is true. That this has been a problem over the last few years with Kawhi starting this trend of load management. Well, this could make it so that load management is lessened because more games do matter in the middle of the season and stuff like that. I think that's a great point, G, that I hadn't even thought about. That maybe the midseason tournament can help fight load management or guys sitting out too much and stuff like that. I love that. G saying, because of that trade now, Mobley does not qualify for a rookie extension. And my understanding is he will be a free agent. Yeah, this could be some weird dominoes that happen for the Cleveland franchise that they didn't intended that isn't good. That's what I'm saying, y'all. Listen, the reason why the Raptors get who they get and who we have is because they fit. Otto Porter is an exact fit with our team and our culture and all kinds of things. I don't know if Donovan Mitchell is exactly who y'all think he is. He's not a savior. He's not going to come and save y'all. And in some ways, he reminds me of Allen Iverson or Stephon Marbury, John Wall. One of these kind of players that's very high usage, like we said, takes a lot of the water that runs through the pipe to him to have to go through him. And how will he take away luster and time from people like Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, Jared Allen, all the other guys on that team, that he is going to demand the ball a certain percentage of the time, and that will take away from maybe their balance and the way they did things last year. That's what I'm saying. Donovan Mitchell is a very top-heavy, high-usage player to be effective. And this may take away some of the effectiveness and edge from the Cavs. I don't understand. Some of these Raptor fans are big Cav fans also, and they're talking this up like this is going to be so amazing and stuff. I don't see it. You got to remember there's a history in Cleveland of screwing things up. And they're probably going to screw this up too. And it may be something like what G just said, that Mobley's rookie contract may be messed up because of Mitchell and how that impacted their salary cap and all these different things and stuff like that. So, yeah, the tells from Donovan when he showed up in the interview with Brian Windhurst, is very telling. They exactly tell you what you need to know about how, yeah, he didn't really want to be in Cleveland. He's just there. He's just showing up. Yeah, I'm here. I'm out of Utah at least. And Danny Ainge, it really shows that he's a spiteful asshole. That he's like, Danny Ainge is an asshole. I mean, seriously, it's like he could have just easily done this deal with New York and set him up, but he was spiteful towards Donovan. So, no, I'm going to send you to Cleveland instead. Because you could tell Donovan Mitchell had a dream to play for the Knicks. He really wanted to play for the Knicks, and he thought he was going to. And they ripped that dream away from him and sent him to Cleveland. Wow! That's a classic story about somebody who works in business. Am I going to be stationed in New York? No, you're going to be in Cleveland. No! Hot in Cleveland, baby. All right, let's keep going. Monique saying, I said no to Mitchell to Raptors from the beginning. Laugh out loud. In reference to your comment. Yeah, I was in the same boat. Like we did the Thursday think tank a couple months ago. Donovan Mitchell on the Raptors. How would that look? How would that feel? Would that be a good move? And we decided no, it probably wouldn't be. Because first of all, he's an undersized guard for our system. And I mean, listen, we came to the conclusion that Gary Trent Jr. could do a lot of what Donovan does in some ways on offense. Plus, he's a better defender, way better two-way player than Donovan Mitchell. So I'd much rather have Gary Trent Jr. starting than Donovan. And other NBA fans may hear this and be like, you're stupid. But I'm like, yeah, because Gary Trent Jr. showed a second side to his game, and that's the defensive side. And I don't have any faith in Donovan Mitchell's defensive game at all. In fact, he may hurt Cleveland and make it easier for us to score on them just because he's on their team at this point. So G saying that is it. Evan Mobley ineligible for a rookie scale max in 2024 after Cavs traded for Donovan Mitchell. Wow. Wow. I'm sure Evan's real thrilled about this. Meanwhile, his buddy Scotty Barnes is going to get this from us because we'll keep it all lined up and right. If we had done some frivolous move this summer that some Raptor fans were all calling out for, oh, we need to make a big move to be a big contender and stuff like that, this may have hampered our ability to do the same thing for Scotty at the right time, in fact. So, yeah, this is all interesting stuff. G's giving us more info. I love this, G. Mobley will be eligible for a 5-year max extension in 2024, but he will have to wait until he's a restricted free agent in 2025 to sign a 5-year max if both Mitchell and Garland remain on. Mobley can alternatively sign a 4-year max extension in 2024, which would make him an unrestricted free agent 1 season earlier. This is great. I mean, seriously. I mean, sometimes things are just too good to be true. And I'm really feeling this about Cleveland this year. These people think that they're going to be so good and stuff like that. I think it's too good to be true. And you're going to find out the reality real quick. And it may be on the opening night against the Raptors in Toronto. You're going to find out the reality. Oh, yeah. Excuse me. All right, let me get some water just to clear this up. So, no, new rules. What do you guys think about them? What do you think about the Elam ending? I think it's weird. I like it in some ways. I think it works in the all-star format. It's pretty cool in that, and because it's not as serious and it's different and it's novel. But I'm really apprehensive about adding the Elam ending into any kind of NBA games that have high stakes. Like, I don't want to see an Elam ending in the finals. I don't want to see an Elam ending in a game with the Raptors where it's close and we're trying to decide a playoff spot and stuff like that. Because like Drake's pissed off about the Scarborough ending against Hamilton. That you don't want a free throw or a referee. I mean, I know that referees can railroad you anyway in the regular rules right now, but it seems like it could be even worse with the Elam ending and stuff like that. I don't know. I'm not totally sold on it. I think it's an interesting thing, but out of all the new rule things, I think it's the one that maybe the NBA should stay away from on the main level and stuff like that. It may be fun for all-star games. It may be fun for the CBL to do it and stuff like that. But the NBA, I don't know if they should do the Elam ending on like major stuff that is important and stuff like that. But, we got to think about this is the way the game has been. Like, listen, if you looked and saw what the rules were in the NBA in the very beginning, it has evolved. They couldn't dribble in the beginning. They had to pass. You had to pass the ball to move the ball, advance it up the court. There was no dribbling. That it was all just passing between players and then shooting. That was entirely NBA. And then they did things with the lane. The lane was skinny, and then they made it wider. And then they didn't add the free 3-point line until like the 70s, y'all. So it's like they've been adding new things to the game all along. So this isn't we shouldn't be against change in the league, because the changes in the league have happened and over the time and made it better and better. And that's the thing. That's really why they do this tinkering around, is they want to make the game more exciting and more fun and more better. And the 3-point line did that and stuff like that. So like when somebody like Mark Cuban starts talking about a 4-point line that's even further out, it may sound really crazy, and it may be like, we can't do that. That'll just change the game too much. Well, we did that with the 3-point line. Why couldn't they go a little further out and put a 4-point line, like Steph Curry, Fred VanVleet 4-point line out there? Because you know what? That's the evolution. Guys will be able to shoot even further out, and that will be the next logical step. I'm not against that. A 4-point line sounds crazy to some people, but you know what? It could have a very interesting effect on the game. Like people could have some crazy comebacks if you can get 4 points all of a sudden and stuff like that. So I think that is a natural evolution of the game also. We may be a little bit too soon for that. There may be only like 3 or 4 players in the league that can actually use a 4-point line consistently right now with their range that they naturally have right now. Maybe like Steph, Fred VanVleet, Trey Young, and a few, maybe a couple other guys that would be able to use this line. So they may want to use it more when it seems like there's more guys that have that range and stuff like that. But these are the kind of new rules that we could see the NBA implement over time and stuff like that. A 4-point line. Yeah. It was cool. Like in the MTV Rock and Jock basketball games back in the day, they had a 5-point spot. Like they had just one spot on the court that if you shot the ball from that spot, you get 5 points. So maybe it's going to be something like that, where you just have one spot where you get like an extra amount of points or something like that if you shoot from that spot. I don't know. But innovation and making the game more entertaining and more fun to watch is a huge priority for the NBA, as far as the new rules and the different things that they're trying out at different times and stuff like that. Some of it works and some of it doesn't. There's been stuff that has not worked and has gone away pretty quickly. You can think about like that dunk contest that they did when they had dunk teams, when Terrence Ross won the dunk contest with John Wall. That didn't work. So they scrapped it. It went away. So that's what they do. They try little things. Sometimes they try it in things that aren't important, that don't count for something, like the All-Star or in the G League. And if it doesn't work, I mean, G League counts, but it's like a different level of counting. But if it doesn't work, then they shelve it. They just, okay, we experimented, it didn't work. Okay, we're not going to try that again. But if it does start to work, like this midseason tournament worked in G League last year, then they'll really start to try and prep it and maybe use it in the big league and stuff like that. So this is very interesting and fun to see how the game evolves over time, because it truly does evolve. They had to figure out to cut the bottom of the peach basket out in the very beginning. That was one of the first evolved things about, oh, we should just cut the bottom of the peach basket out. Then it'll come through, stuff like that. They had to figure out, well, we should dribble. You can dribble. Okay, yeah, we can dribble now and stuff like that. And so the game is always evolving and stuff like that. All right, I don't know how much more I want to talk today. Just wanted to talk a little bit about new rules in the NBA, how they implement them, and also rules about differences when you're an owner and an employee. And this speaks bigger problem in our society in general, about power and money and getting away with things that ordinary people can't get away with and stuff like that. So yeah, Monique's saying, I'm with you on the Elam ending. It's silly, Lex. Now I see it. Yeah, I mean, it's fun in some ways and I kind of like it, but there's some things they still got to iron out. Like like I said, I didn't like how the CEBL finished their last game and gave the championship to Honey Badgers, the way that it went down. I thought that was not, it was kind of anticlimactic in a way and stuff like that. Hey, Shane Waters, bam, happy Thursday. Good to see you yesterday on Scotty's Twitch last night. Yeah, I think he might be on again this week. I mean, Scotty's awesome. They were asking him, hey, do you like living in Toronto? He said, I love living in Toronto. He said that last night. He was talking about living in Toronto, how much he loves it and stuff like that. And we were speculating that, like, somebody asked him, do you live in the penthouse, Scotty? He's like, no, I don't live in the penthouse. And then we started saying, well, maybe what if his place that he's living in, he called it a box, first of all. No, I just live in a box, y'all. Just like everybody else. I live in a box is what he's calling his apartment. And I was saying maybe he just lives in OVO. Like maybe this is a room that he's twitching from is just another part of OVO, that he just lives in OVO Center, and he's just coming in and out of his room to go work out and stuff. I want to believe that. Scotty just lives at OVO Center. That's where that room is that he's sitting there with his Rookie of the Year award and the ukulele behind him. That's at OVO. But yeah, anyway, that's that. That's the gist of it, y'all. Tomorrow, Friday freak out. Yeah, I'm gonna freak out on the ticket reselling issue that's going on right now. Talking about they need to change this because this is not good for everybody. This is messed up. What's going on here? We have people. Yeah, we'll talk about it tomorrow. I don't want to get too detailed because that it is. I want to save it for the content for tomorrow. But anyway, guys, thanks for being here with me. Please like, comment, subscribe, share, do whatever you can. Subscribing is the best thing you can do. But if you share me somewhere else, that's also very fantastic, also too. And all right, David, have a good day. Good to see you pop in just to the end there. And everybody, seriously, share the love, touch grass, be good to one another, be loving and kind, and do what's right and fair. Just because we have all these really bad examples of people that are in power, that are getting away with stuff, we can still be good role models for everybody else in our own lives and still hold a certain standard. Even if publicly a lot of people are disappointing us and not doing it, and they're just awful people at this point, we can still have our own integrity ourselves in the way we carry ourselves, and we're role models for young people and different people also. And I want y'all to think about that today. David's been here. I knew you were here. David's listening. He's not always chiming in and stuff like that, but that's great. I mean, hey, however you got to do it. Some people have class, they're working, whatever. However you got to do it. If you can get a comment in, it's all good. All right, y'all. Let's go. Oh, Shane Waters, let's go, freaks. Great stuff, Alexi. Friday Freakout will be freaky. And get your tickets tomorrow, Shane.